Hey everyone, it's Justine and welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas 2017, Day 3. Today's video sponsor is Pretty Pink Posh and we're going to be creating an interactive card that spins. I'm going to be using two stamp sets today to show you two different cards with the same technique. I'm going to be using the Angel Friends and the Reindeer Friends stamp set. These stamp sets are absolutely adorable and I can't wait to show you how to make them spin. Let's get this party started with some basic stamping with the Misti stamping tool. I'm stamping 5 of the reindeer in Memento Black Ink, turning around the cardstock and stamping them a second time, so I have 10 reindeer in total. I also went over them a second time to darken them up a little bit, which is the great thing about the Misti because you can stamp more than once. Now the angels are easy because there's enough in total to actually stamp them just once. So I went ahead and arranged them in the blank spaces and stamped them then onto my cardstock. I stamped them a second time so they would have the similar thickness. Now in order to color the reindeer, I went ahead with just one shade for the antlers and hooves and ears. And then I went ahead and I used the lightest of my brown colors to color the entire reindeer in. I then went along the shadowed areas using my darkest color of my Copic blend. I blended that out using the medium color just a little bit further, and then I went in with the lightest color once again and blended out the 3 colors. It's the easiest, quickest, and simple way to color. Now for the angel, there were more blends, so I did a skin tone blend with some rosy cheeks, and then I went ahead and did her dress in a pink color. Now I'm doing the exact same thing, lightest, then the darkest, blend out with the medium color, and the lightest again. For her hair, all I did was simply add some yellow, and I added a few streaks with a darker color. Now you will notice that when I went ahead and I colored the other angels, I actually lightened her dress a little bit, and I was able to still use the dark color. I just went over it with my colorless blender until I was satisfied. Now I have all of the reindeer and I have all of the little angels cut out. If you have the die cuts or a scan and cut, it's super easy to cut these out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold some card bases. Now I went ahead and did some die cutting. So what I did was I grabbed a Scallop die. This is an exclusive Pretty Pink Posh die. And I die cut this twice to make 2 panels for my cards. So I'm only going to show it happening once. And I used card base thickness so that I had a really sturdy cardstock for the spinner interactive card. Now my panel measures here 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's in cardstock weight, so it's the card base weight, heavy cardstock. And I'm going to place it on top of another card base here. So I'm going to be using this card panel after. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trace around the circle so I know where everything is going to end up going. So throughout this video, I'm actually only going to be showing you how to make one of the cards, but I obviously made 2, one with the angels and one with the reindeers. But in order to save time, I'm only going to show you me making 1 card. So I'm going around the 4 corners of this circle, if that makes sense. I know circles don't have corners. And I'm adding these interactive pieces. These come from My Favorite Things and they are plastic. Now I'm gluing them on with some Tombow Mono liquid adhesive. The most important thing you need to do while doing this though is to let them dry. If not, this technique is not going to work. Now I'm going to set that piece off to the side here, and I'm going to stamp the center of this die cut using the Merry and Bright stamp sentiment. Now obviously if I were to keep these scalloped areas onto my card, it wouldn't be turning because it would fit exactly inside that scallop frame. So I grabbed a circle die and I die cut that so it would have smooth edges. You could also simply just die cut a circle and stamp inside it, but I didn't want to waste any paper. It would, however, have to be smaller than your scalloped frame. So I went ahead and added glue. My frame is completely dry. I let it sit for probably a half an hour. And I added some small circles on top of the card. There are die cuts made for this, or you could use some circle die cuts in your stash, or you can cut them out by hand. It doesn't matter. Now once again, it's very important that these dry. Now it's time to see where everything's going to go. So I placed my frame there for reference. I then went ahead and added some 3D foam tape to the Merry and Bright circle and attached it. Then I put this frame over top so all those little circles are actually slipped under this Merry and Bright circle die. That is really important because it's going to allow it to now spin. Just one small square is perfect enough, because the circles are moving underneath the merry and bright circle. So it was very important that you didn't add a ton of 3D foam tape behind the merry and bright. Okay, now this is important because this is a mistake that I made here. So you're going to go ahead and add your 3D foam tape to your card panel. Now the strip I just added at the top there is too big. It's not going to allow the circles to move underneath. So just be careful that you were to only put the 3D foam tape in the corners of this card. So do not put it too close to the circle in the middle. So what I did was I ended up having to remove it later. So what you're going to do is you're going to put 2 small squares in the 2 top corners so that it allows enough space around the circle. And then you can add as much as you want at the bottom, but again, just stay away from that circle. So after I finished putting the proper 3D adhesive there onto the back, you can see that my spinner frame actually spins now with no problems. This is why it's a good thing to watch videos, because then you don't end up making the same mistakes. So now all we need to do is actually attach the angels on top of the frame. So you're going to add the glue on your frame, not on your angel, just to make sure, and then you're going to arrange your angels. In order to get them proportionate, what I like to do is I like to add the biggest one, so that was the one holding the joy banner, to the top. Then I add them to the bottom and the 2 sides. So I kind of have them at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, then I go to 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock, and then I fill in the other ones according to the space I have left. Now, again, just make sure you're gluing the frame and not the angels so you don't get any excess glue on the angels that'll make it stick to the panel on the card. Now this exact same technique I also did with the reindeer stamps, and it turned out just as fantastic as this one. Once everything is glued to the actual frame itself, you should be able to spin it quite easily here once it's dry. Do not start spinning it until it is dry though, because you're going to end up moving around your angels. So I went ahead and I folded up my card base, and I used my bone folder in order to fold the cardstock, and then I can see that it is spinning and it is interactive and it is just so cool, and anybody who gets this card is going to be thrilled. And because you let those plastic pieces dry, this is actually very durable. I spun this a bunch of times without it breaking. So now you can see both cards side by side up close. Super cute. Now on to the giveaway, always the best part. Today we have a $30 gift certificate to Pretty Pink Posh that can be won. Get started on your entries by leaving a comment here on YouTube, and then if you click on my blog link in the video description, you'll be taken to my blog for several other ways where you can learn how to win. Good luck to everyone, and I'll be making a video on November 7th announcing the winners. If you missed a video or you need more Christmas ideas, you can check out my Christmas playlist above, or you can subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video.